Hi, my name's Rose Thome Casterline, and I want to share some information about my current art exhibit at Tallahassee Community College Gallery. It is my Playdate series, a group of paintings that I have put together over the last 10 years. During this time, I've concerned myself with the blurred boundaries of work and play, what is leisure time, and how we negotiate that in our lives. The work, I guess, upon reflection, is a bit autobiographical, but I have always been concerned with the human form, painting it, drawing it, and really inspired by this idea of the figure in motion, the gesture. So most of my pieces start with that really impactful idea of what is a powerful gesture, pose, body language, something that's going to sustain a piece. Um, my the woman in the inner tube with a backpack, kind of in a poise position called poise. Um, that work illustrates some of my stylistic decisions. First of all, in this piece, I am exploring drawing and painting, trying to work together, get a bit of a flow. Secondly, I'm also concerned about not just the actual pose, what it's revealing, but also I've brought in some marks that are representational of gesture and movement. And if you look closely in the background, you'll see kind of a calligraphic type of mark, and that is actually gymnastic shorthand. And I have brought in different types of sports and dance shorthands into my pieces to represent the idea of movement. Um, Eventually, those go away and then they come back in another form, but I've really adopted these types of mark as a part of my personal iconography. This next series, I have figures kind of shifting and rotating around in these individual boards. With these pieces, I wanted to create more of a um, implicit narrative, one that the viewer puts together. The figures are intended to touch the edges so that the boards can then be rotated and turned, or even positioned with or away from one another to create a dialogue with the viewer, um, a dialogue with the artist, a dialogue with oneself. And if you look, as you rotate the figure, and I've presented one example of that, it really does, um, when you see the figure in a different position than you are normally um, associate, new stories might emerge. And that is very interesting to me. And so I invite any curator to reposition, rotate, flip, stack, do all these things to these works, and I think that's really a lot of fun. What's really fantastic about this gallery here is there are these beautiful long horizontal spaces with interesting angled intersections, so you can see one body of work along with another, and it really made sense to have this strong horizontal placement of the work. And so it's just really beautiful the way it's been presented. After that, I begin working with merging the drawing and the painting. The polka dots in the work really become um, the byproduct of my shorthand experimentations. It's really the abstract mark, the abstract space with the figure. The figures are telling a more specific story with these floating inner tubes. However, I really feel there's a metaphorical level as well. And I hope that I invite the viewer to bring their own story to the discussion. I personally love to see these arranged um, as a triptych or a diptych to create different types of narratives. Um, the black and white on wood panel pieces really were the prelude to the painted versions of Lazy River. Um, just a lot of fun, nice working on a a toned surface, being just a wood panel, but really trying to explore some new content, new ideas, which will then be developed a little bit further as paintings somewhere down the road. So that might be a sneak peek at where I'm going with my new work. Um, I have a series of young girls kind of moving through space as well, and I call that my glass ceiling series. Again, just exploring this idea of moving forward into from one place to another. That is, um, again, metaphorical and really fun pieces to do. And to finish this little explanation of my work, I bring you back to some of my favorite pieces from years ago. The repurpose, just bringing again back that gymnastics shorthand, football diagrams, and then notice that these last two pieces, well, there maybe are three, where I have more than one figure in one space. These narratives are very specific. They're more about the body language, the gaze of each of the figures in that space. They are favorite paintings, but they mean just about one thing to me, and then probably a specific interpretation by the viewer. And then the last piece in this little presentation is what is this called? Um, oh, team player. I naming and titling the works can be a lot of fun. So team player is more of a business reference, tying it back into that work space versus a play space. And this was a real challenge to put this drawing together. And then my very last image I'm sharing just shows how I'm concerned about every mark. The quick gestural look of the piece is really important to me, and so I kind of work and work and work my marks to make them look quick, gestural, and responsive to the idea. Thank you for looking at my work, and thanks especially to Barbara Koenar for sponsoring my show. Thank you.